Here we are. Live again. Right on time.
Mike, what is that art right next to you?
Oh, we're pretty fancy back here.
Ah.
Just a little.
It is.
We're in my living room. I have friends staying over. So we're making it work.
How do you feel about people staying over?
It doesn't happen very often.
Uh-huh.
We we haven't quite figured out our second bedroom yet. Got to get that taken care of because it's like my office / workout area. But eventually I will like it very much, I think. Especially people from out of town.
Yeah.
Or people that are like, come over, drink, crash, sleep over, here's a bed. But when it's like an air mattress, it's a little harder.
Yeah, I actually don't mind people staying over. I hate staying over other people's places. I would rather pay $200 for a hotel room than sleep at somebody's house, to be honest with you. I hate staying at people's houses.
I just need I need a sound system, a sleeping white noise situation. Because I can't sleep unless if there's no sound, I can't. I'll just be up all night.
Do you have a white noise machine in your room?
Yeah.
You know, on Spotify, there's like a million white noise playlists.
Yeah. I do it on the phone, but then all of a sudden there's like you're running like Spotify or like YouTube.
Yeah.
Like Babbling Brook on your phone for fucking
Do you know what I started
9 hours?
Doing? I have these sick that I bought in the airport once because AirPods are not loud enough for a flight, like to watch a movie, at least for me. So I bought these cool like Bluetooth over the ear Bose like headphones or whatever. They're too much money, but I now sleep with those on with the rain noise. Wow. I'm in a fucking different world, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome.
I started wearing earplugs.
Okay.
There's a very funny story that John Gonzalez and Colleen Wolfe tell about their cat eating a ton of earplugs and having to go to the emergency room. She was okay. She is now no longer with us, but she lived a very long life. Shout out Ranny. I don't love having things in my ears when I'm asleep.
Yeah.
I'm getting more used to it, but I still don't love it. Not so fun. Because then I roll over and it just like gets further into my ear.
Well, that's why I was doing the over-the-ear ones. The over-the-ear ones were awesome.
It makes my ears too hot.
Yes, I do wake up sweaty ears.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Sweaty ears. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by Sweaty Ears. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is also presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. And brought to you by MortgageCS. Become a MortgageCS Ricky VIP at mortgagecs.com/Ricky. Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. Kornblau Kornblau, the official law firm of the process. And Kinetic Skateboarding. Get 9.1% off your first order with promo code Dave Silver on the show today. Former Sixer Mac McClung wins the dunk contest, even though he's not even in the NBA. Pat Bev talks some shit on someone on the Sixers. Adam Silver introduces more AI initiatives for the NBA, which we will get Mike's reaction to. An off-season star hunting idea, and we do an AMA from the Sixers and Rights to Ricky Sanchez Reddit. I did mention Kinetic Skateboarding. Not just skateboards, not just sneakers, not just gear, all that kind of stuff. Snowboard headquarters. All snowboards purchased at Kinetic get free tunes, waxes, sharpens for the life of your board. Now, if you didn't buy yours there, you can still use Kinetic as your snowboard headquarters. $45 for a next day tune, and then regular price is $35, which takes 2 or 3 days. If you would like to get your snowboard tuned at Kinetic Skateboarding, give them a call, 302-477-1533, or message them on Twitter or message them on Instagram. Fly the Process is coming. We are about a month away. Fly the Process in Los Angeles. We will see Sixers versus Clippers. We will take over all of Los Angeles. We will be hundreds of weirdos that they have not seen in Los Angeles, East Coast weirdos, real pains in the ass. We only cause real trouble. We don't cause weird trouble. We don't cause any real trouble. But it is our first West Coast Fly the Process. We do it with fans of Philly who take care of everything for you. You get the flight, You get a great hotel, which is very close to the Staples Center, or what's it called now? The Crypto Center, or what? Crypto Center?
Yeah.
Is that what it
is? Crypto.com Arena.
We will be really close to the Staples Center. We will have other events over the weekend where you can hang out, or if you are with a loved one, you just want to take in Los Angeles for the weekend, you can do that. It's the next to last weekend of March. And if you are already in Los Angeles or you need a special package that is not coming from Philadelphia, like you don't need travel or something, send an email to joe@fansofphilly.com. Otherwise, just just go to writesrickysanchez.com/fly for more information. We hope to see you there. First ever West Coast Fly the Process. And we don't know for sure that Joel won't be there, but it's usually typical that Joel doesn't play the game. So go with an open heart in that way. Speaking of Ricky sponsors, Mike's going to be in town for a bar mitzvah next weekend. Is that
one of my hordes of nephews' bar mitzvahs? Yes.
Can't wait to get that kid financial assistance in college when he is ready for it.
Couple years. Yep.
So Thursday night, there's Sixers Knicks, and Mike will be in town for it. And we decided we want to do a pod after the game, but instead of doing a pod, like, where are we going to be? So we looked at our sponsors, and the Stateside has a bar at 1700 Hancock Street in Fishtown. They were nice enough to stay open for us. This is not official live Ricky. You may not even be able to hear us. We may just be sitting there. You may have to sit quiet as a mouse like you did in the hotel room when we were on Fly the Process in Minnesota. But we will be there after the game, however long it takes us to get there, and we're going to do the pod after Sixers Knicks over at the Stateside Bar. Thank you to Stateside, by the way, staying open for us. They're normally closed by 10 o'clock, so we will see you, if you'd like, that night. Mike rarely East Coast, so we have to take advantage of it. And last thing, just a thing from me to you. You know, Rebel is my loved dog. I love Rebel, and Rebel was adopted from Aruba. And my wife and I went on our honeymoon in Aruba, and there's all these stray dogs everywhere. And luckily, there are wonderful people in Aruba and then wonderful charities in the States who match you up with dogs and then find volunteers to fly the dogs up to America. Rebel, before we got him, was fostered by this wonderful woman named Aletta Dupont, who lived in Aruba and would take in all of these fosters and find homes for these fosters. Still, to this day, 9 years later, Aletta sends us messages checking on Rebel, making sure he's doing okay. Aletta was diagnosed with a disorder called dystonia, which makes it almost impossible for her to walk. It's a neurological disorder. And she's cool as shit too. She would be out everywhere, traveling all over the place. She used to ride a Harley, and she is like wheelchair bound now, but she can't go anywhere because she does not have a vehicle that can fit her electric wheelchair. So there is a GoFundMe for her. She is I've never met her in person. I've only seen her via FaceTime and messages, but just a kind soul to not only save Rebel, but so many animals. And I hate seeing her in this condition. So there's a GoFundMe to get her a vehicle that can house her electric wheelchair so she can go places like she is used to doing. We will put it in the show notes. We will put it in the chat. She needs like $20,000. It's a lot of money. So if you can donate anything from $5 or $10 to her, it would mean a lot to me, to my wife, to my dog. Without any further ado, Amos and the Chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who's got more nephews than the radio edit of a Snoop Dogg song. That is one, Mike Levin.
Here we go. All-Star break.
Yep.
We're relaxing. We're on a beach in Indiana. Let's go.
Indiana. What a reward for the NBA players to go to a freezing, boring city as a reward for being one of the best 24 players in the NBA in the first half of the season. Amazing for them.
I would be charmed by Indianapolis. I guarantee my simple ass would be charmed by Indianapolis as a city. Never been.
I have to tell you, I do not need big city. I'm not Mr. Big City guy. The people are very nice. There's nothing charming about Indianapolis. I'm sorry. It is sterile and boring. No offense.
Sterile.
It is sterile. It's like a mall. It's like you're in a mall. It's so weird. Anyway, I didn't explore a lot of it. I was only there for 2 days, whatever. They were very nice to us.
The rivalries with cities are just racking up by the day. Denver was getting lonely up there.
Yeah. So and we were doing this podcast on Sunday. NBA Saturday night was last night with the 3-point shooting contest. The dunk contest won by Mac McClung, former Sixer. Yeah, former Sixer. Who's not
former sort of Sixer.
Not actually.
Kenny Smith was like, someone's got to give this guy an opportunity. And it's like, no, they don't.
Well,
they straight up don't.
Here's his opportunities to be like the resident,
He gets to be a circus freak. Honestly,
for these things, they should just fucking, for the skills competition, get dudes from the And One mixtape tour. If guys in the NBA are going to be like Anthony Edwards, it's just like, I'm going to shoot left-handed the whole time. And I give Jaylen Brown credit, even though they purposely gave him scores that he didn't deserve so they could get more stars in the dunk contest, which is exactly what happened. I respect him doing it, but I'd rather just get guys that are fucking great at the things that they're asking them to do and watch them, and then watch the fucking NBA players on the sideline going ape shit, holding up 10 signs is what I'd rather see. So go get somebody who can actually compete with Mac McClung rather than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. I generally don't love the dunk contest, but I even less enjoy the discourse about the dunk contest after the fact.
Yeah, it's got to end and it's over and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, ultimately, again, the scoring drives me crazy. I have been asking, I don't know if you remember this, for years, for as long as this podcast, for before this podcast, I was like, the scoring system shouldn't be single digits, 9 and 10. It should be an average of the big 50. And they finally did it this year, which didn't help. I was like, it's going to help. It's going to be great. But everyone's just like, I guess 48, 49. And it's like, guys, if it's a 49, it's like one of the best dunks you've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's just straight up not the case. Fred Jones, grow up. You know you're lying. Dominique, come on.
I actually think they'll never get it. But conceptually, here's the problem with how they score it. They start from 50 and they work down.
Yeah.
You got to start from 0. Your base is he missed the dunk.
The dunk should be an 11.
Well, if you start from 0 and have to get to 50 rather than start from 50 and are docking people points, then it's going to be harder to get to 50 and you're going to wind up with lower scores. And a real 50, like, look, Mac McClung jumping over Shaq, like, that's a fucking 50, I think. I think that is fair. I would have given a 10 that. But there's very few dunks that are of that level,
Yeah.
So
yeah. There was and the skills competition was the passing is at least kind of fun because there's more movement there, and the shooting is always pretty decent. But it should be weird. It should be more like carnival stuff. It should be more like, let's see how athletic these like weird guys. I don't know. The fact that they still do the dribbling thing is just like, it's so uninteresting. They don't try it very hard. There's some like Maxey getting dinged for going the wrong way, and it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, that's
stupid.
It doesn't matter. But it's cool. I mean, it's cool to see Maxey out there.
Yeah, it's fun.
He's like, he's in the circle of NBA, of the larger circle of NBA royalty now. Like, it's crazy. And thank you, Mike Muscala, obviously, as we must all say. But like, just what a delightful young man.
Did you see the video of Jalen Brunson outing him as a Cowboys fan?
Outing Maxey?
Yes.
No, I didn't see it. But I mean, he's from Dallas.
CJ, can you find that video? Well, because it's a funny video. They're about to go out, and it's so funny because Maxey is having such a good time. And I don't know if the person asked what Brunson's favorite team was, but Brunson's favorite team is obviously the Eagles. Yeah. And he just fucking out of nowhere, Maxey's next to him. He just outs Maxey, and Maxey's trying to hide behind him. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, he's from Dallas. If he was from like some, random ass place and just happened to, or from like Hershey, PA, or something like that, and he's a Cowboys fan, then you'd be like, hang on, man, like grow up. But no.
Here we go. CJ.
Hold on. Are you Eagles fan? I'm an Eagles fan. Just want y'all know. Are you an Eagles fan? We're about to go out. We got to go. See, y'all love the Eagles. They don't love the Eagles. You from Dallas? Oh, hell no. I'm not gonna like it. We from the Knicks. Bird gang.
So there you go, Jalen Brunson.
I love Jalen, dude. If I went to Nova, and I root for Nova, I know Philly people. A lot of people don't. I kind of, since I didn't go to any of the Big Five schools, I kind of just root for all of them.
Okay.
If I went to Nova, and I was a Sixers fan, and I saw how many good Villanova players were succeeding on the Knicks,
it would be crushing.
I would have lost my mind by now.
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges trade, obviously, passing on Jalen, who went in the second round, DiVincenzo, who was gettable, Josh Hart, who was gettable. I mean, some of those guys I was, begging for during the draft.
Well, Josh Hart, I think, was very high on both of our big boards at the time. Yeah.
But it would drive me crazy. I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but if I was a person that went to Nova and did this, I probably would be, sending murderous gangs for Brian Colangelo and Anzej Pisechniks.
I think Dante DiVincenzo was on my YouTube big board too.
Yeah.
I'd have to. I know Hart was. I don't remember if Brunson was, but I definitely know DiVincenzo was.
But Brunson is awesome. The 3-point contest, not necessarily his place, but he's awesome. He's so fucking good. It's crazy how good he's gotten.
So before we get out of the Joel Embiid tweeted about the dunk contest. I'm a professional hater, but I'm not hating when I say I could win the dunk contest with these scores, but not sure the knees would allow it. LMAO. That's the good tweet, the good posting. Embiid. I like that one.
He's feeling good. Surgery's going good. He'll be back before we know it.
Yeah, we'll see. So I needed to get your take on this. There was a presentation before NBA Saturday Night. I think this was Friday. There's a clip that the NBA put out with Adam Silver and Victor Wembanyama. And boy, it's one of the worst 2 minutes of video.
No, I didn't watch it. I just saw that it existed.
You've got to see it. So all right, here we go.
Hall of Fame. Who is asking for this?
This is
Mount Rushmore of who's asking for this.
Yeah, certainly Mount Rushmore of who's asking for this. And we'll watch the video, but I need to lay out in words what he said that you could do to put it on the Mount Rushmore of who's asking for this. Go ahead.
I know from our earlier conversations, you love technology. You're a bit of a hobbyist yourself. To me, I often think the NBA is like a great movie. By the way, what's your favorite basketball movie?
I like that French movie Hoosiers. The coach kind of reminds me of Coach Pop. You know what? Let me try it myself.
Okay, go for it.
NBAI. Play Hoosiers.
Peut-être que tout le monde avait raison. Peut-être que nous ne sommes pas à notre place. On les aura, les mecs.
Victor, that's actually
Applause.
An American film. Parts of it, it's based in Indiana. Parts of it were filmed right down the street here.
No, definitely French. You know what? I'm kind of a fan of Spider-Man. Do you think we could watch an NBA game like it's a Spider-Man movie or something?
Well, NBAI is new, but we'll try. So, NBAI, show me the Pacers game as if it were a Spider-Man movie.
Ooh.
Generates in real time.
Loading.
With the game.
That's right. You can watch an NBA game like it was a video game from 2004. By the way, the first thing is so amazing. NBAI can do something Siri's been able to do for 10 years. Can play something, and then it can make your... Mike, haven't you ever been watching a basketball game and saying, I would love to combine this basketball game with The Green Mile or Saving Private Ryan, your favorite movie? What the fuck? Who needs this? What a bunch of dumb fucks. What are they doing?
It's so dumb. It's really like, and I've written some stuff like this when you have to like, okay, these two non-actors are going to do a little skit.
Yeah, yes, right.
They're going to do a little skit, and it's going to be a little bit funny, and they're going to really sell these jokes. And it's, man, they're stiff. Man, they're stiff.
Who wants that?
I can't imagine ever conceiving of a moment when I could want that. The closest thing that I do like and want is the Nickelodeon Super Bowl stream.
Yes,
like,
right.
And that I get. When you don't care about a game, you're like, let's watch somebody get slimed.
Uh-oh.
On the court.
Mike has his reactions on. Go like this, Mike. Do it. There it is.
Boy. Perfect. This is what we needed. Now AI is chiming into the podcast.
Mike doesn't usually use his laptop, and he's using his laptop, which has the
666. Great. This is all good, and it's obviously enhancing the experience for everybody. This is good. As
Oh
a
my
basketball
God.
fan, I want to be thoroughly distracted while I'm trying to watch the game. If you could just actually make my screen bright red.
How about this?
So I can't see. Like there's blood just coming down the screen.
They're like, we can't get any of the good players to participate in the dunk contest. We can't get them to try during the All-Star game. I know we could work on those things, but instead, what if we introduce technology that definitely won't happen, won't work, and on top of it, nobody would even want if it did?
No one wants it all. Hey Siri, hey NBA AI, can you use the Schindler's List filter to watch this Pistons Wizards game?
I was going to do Schindler's List, but I decided not to.
Bleak, man. Really, really, really bleak.
Incredibly
Hey,
bleak.
instead of like training refs to not be the most gullible freaks on the planet, like, can we just do some like computer zazamataz? Is there any way we can get more zazamataz in this game? Ridiculous. Who is this for?
No one. Adam Silver, what are you doing all day? What do you do all day?
Well, he's writing that sketch.
Yeah.
I hope that was WGA sanctioned. I hope he's in the guild. I hope he's paying dues.
The rights. Well, I hope Wembanyama is paying dues as well, who is now an actor.
Well, yeah, SAG. I'll talk to SAG.
Yeah.
Talk to our friends at SAG.
Somebody said, Tom says in the comments, it's specifically for Daryl.
Oh God, Daryl probably fucking loved it. Oh my God.
Daryl probably bought that moment
It's
on
a
some
useful tool.
Yeah.
It's a useful tool. Fucking useful tool. Ridiculous.
Daryl minted that moment on some dumb fuck Bitcoin site and bought it. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by MortgageCS. MortgageCS. Here is a review. I was looking at their Google reviews. They now have 350. They're all 5 stars. A 5-star average. This one came from Diana. Everyone at MortgageCS was fantastic to work with. The team helped us with financing our first home, and they made the process as stress-free as possible. They took the time to answer every question we had, no matter how simple. We really appreciated how quickly they responded to emails, texts, calls, etc. We would highly recommend using them. They stand behind their name, MortgageCS. CS stands for Concierge Service. They are a local, independent mortgage broker. Independent, so important, knowing that their only dedication, their only responsibility is to you. Some of those huge mortgage brokers have deals with banks that you don't know about. This is a true thing. So when they're looking for your mortgage, they may send you somewhere that benefits them more than it benefits you. That's not what you want. You want MortgageCS. And like Diana said in her review, they are there for you whenever you need them quickly. So much so that I will give you the CEO's cell phone number. It is 267-391-7425. That is 267-391-7425. They will be there for you whenever you need them, wherever you need them, late at night, on the weekends, you need a pre-qualification letter because you found the house of your dreams and it's Thursday night at 8:30. They're going to be there for you. They, every Ricky person who has worked with MortgageCS has been thrilled. They can also work with you on refinancing. Spring housing market's going to be crazy. Having a good mortgage broker in your corner is important. Also licensed in tons of different states, as well as PA, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, but California, Colorado, Massachusetts, South Carolina, Virginia, Washington, all over the place. We love MortgageCS, and we're so proud and happy that they are a partner of ours. Go to mortgagecs.com/Ricky to schedule your consultation, or call or text Ben, like I said, 267-391-7425. That is 267-391-7425. Text him just to see if he'll respond to you quickly. I know he loves when I do that. Even if you don't need a mortgage, see if he'll respond to you. This advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. MortgageCS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS 1464766. Visit mortgagecs.com/Ricky for more information. So,
Hey, NBAI, can you do a basketball game? Give me a free throw as if it's been shot from Children of Men. Maybe that'll spice up trips to the line. If the human race was evaporating before our eyes because no one can have children. What about that?
come on,
Thanks.
NBA AI.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
So, a former Sixer, Pat Bev, Pat Bev in his time here in Philadelphia gained a lot of popularity, I would say, with the fan base. He seemed to love Philadelphia. We commented regularly that he was more proficient offensively than we thought, but his whole attitude was very funny for Philly, and everyone everyone gravitated toward that. So he was traded to Doc Rivers and the Milwaukee Bucks, but he still has his podcast, which is with Roan, and I should say that, or everyone will get mad if I don't say it. He did have some things to say about a conversation he had on the phone with Tobias Harris about the difference between Milwaukee and Philadelphia in terms of the teams. CJ, why don't you play that for us?
Tobias on the phone, he's like, yo, what's the biggest difference? I'm like, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. It's not about stats. It's not about numbers here. It's not about who gets the ball. Everybody here wants to win.
So I'm reading, but
Tobias on the phone, he's like, yo.
So there you go.
Love imagining Tobias on the phone asking that. It's borderline. None of that happened. But Pat is a straight up wrestling character, and I love him for it.
Yeah.
He's selling his podcast. He's selling himself. He's doing great. And he did absolutely produce on the offensive end for this team this year. Trading for a second round pick after signing for the minimum is a solid pickup, especially in light of Kyle Lowry actually coming. Like that's just good business. You know? I was worried that Lowry wouldn't come and then we'd be left with just a worse team, but Lowry coming solidifies like solid stuff. The idea that look, yes, the 30 and 10 shit for Embiid, especially in that Knicks game where Embiid came back in when they were down 1,000 and everybody looked bad. Like, yeah, that was ridiculous. And then he missed a couple games. Like, that was the joke. That sucked. But the idea that this is real and not just him.
Do you think it's just shit talk?
It's shit talk. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course it's shit talk. Also, they're 3-7 since Doc got there. They lost to the fucking Memphis Grizzlies starting Vince Williams at point guard. Gigi Jackson taking 27 shots. Zaire Williams having the game of his life. They lost that game before the deadline, and then Doc said, before the All-Star break, and Doc said that some players were on the court and some of them were already in, what do you say, Cancun or one of the other?
Cabo.
In Cabo. And it's like, Doc, you got here a week ago. You are already talking shit and throwing your players under the bus. It is on fast forward, the Doc Rivers experience. What a joy, man. What a joy. What a joy to be experiencing the Doc Rivers Bucks. And I'm not ruling out the possibility that they could absolutely stab me in the throat and beat the Sixers in a playoff series. But
would be tough.
I am loving
it. Would be tough for us.
I mean, I would never. I'd be doing the podcast in the dark, upside down, naked. I wouldn't. It would be I'd be so beyond consolable. But for now, absolutely for now, loving Doc tanking this team and then talking shit and blaming everybody else and coaching the All-Star game tonight, and keeping the money for himself probably, and Adrian Griffin gotta be just stewing about all this. They're a worse team with him. Not to say that Adrian was a good coach, whatever, but man, it's the Doc Rivers experience, and everybody gets there eventually.
I think Pat Bev is simply trolling as well. I think he liked Embiid. And by the way, I think there's a non-zero chance that Pat Bev is on the Sixers next year. Actually, I don't think that's impossible, to be honest with you. So unless the Bucks win the title and Pat Bev hits a big three to get him there. So
what do you think about the Pat saying that Daryl told him he wouldn't be traded?
Well, he sort of circled back on that and said that he loved Daryl and said that there's like no harm, no foul on that. So I think he understands. I think he was just shit talking. And I think in text that looked worse, or clipped that looked worse than it really was. Like I don't get the sense that Pat Bev is actually upset about that. I don't think he is.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just start to, as with the Harden situation this summer, like reputations in like popular culture, politics, whatever, like just get landed on somebody, and whether there's some modicum or like on the spectrum of truth to it, like once enough people say it, it just becomes the thing.
Yeah, that Daryl Morey is a liar now.
That Daryl Morey's a liar and he's going to fuck you over. Like that, like context kind of gets taken out of that. And now, maybe the NBA is insular enough that there's, agents and people within the league office that can push back on that and stuff. But what trickles down to the players is just like hearing that stuff and going like, no, I'm not gonna go and deal with that because he'll fuck me over. And so that's just a concern that I have, because I generally don't trust like enough people to seek out or provide nuance and context. So that's something I'm a little bit worried about, because it's just like if enough people say it, people just start believing it.
Yeah, I don't. I think, if you could have found two players in the NBA that, not that other players don't take what they say seriously, but like the biggest grain of salt in history, I think James Harden and Patrick Beverley are two holders of giant grains of salt, by the way.
Yeah, for different reasons.
By the way, if the Sixers lost to the Bucks, I would be NBA AI. Like, could you merge this game with Full Metal Jacket and please allow me to watch?
NBA AI, can you stab me in the throat with shards of glass from the backboard?
So we posted.
That would be the worst time. I don't know that I could continue the podcast. That might break me. That might be the end of it.
It would be.
I would do one final podcast for everyone to see how, for all the non-Sixers fans to watch and see how absolutely wrecked I am, and then I would walk into traffic.
It would be pretty dark. It would be a dark podcast.
Yeah,
no doubt. So posted on the Sixers and Rights to Ricky Sanchez Reddit for Ask Me Anything questions. We will get to it right after a couple of voicemails that we have left over. One I wanted to get your thoughts on. I think I know what the thoughts are, but I want to hear it anyway, to 833 Lickface.
Hey, Spike, Mike, CJ. This is TJ from Baltimore. I'm calling to ask about what you guys think of some rumors, I guess, speculating that Trae Young is available, or at least more available than he's been in the past. Obviously, you've been keeping our cap space open and our picks to make a big move this summer. So I was wondering what you guys think of going after Trae Young, the potential defensive issues with Trae and Maxey, what a trade would even look like. And also a non-basketball question. Do you think that the Patrick Mahomes glazing after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl is better or worse than the Brock Purdy glazing would have been if 49ers had won instead? All right, thank you, guys.
So, Trae Young.
I mean, I like Trae less than you, but more than, I'm pretty like centrist on Trae.
More than the general conversation that he's, yeah.
But I think he's an incredible player. I think he is a system to himself in the James Harden way. But it is bizarre that the Hawks are not good relatively consistently, except for the 1 year that the Sixers allowed them to get to the conference finals. And Trae is good enough even in the playoffs last year when like they took 2 games from Boston in that matchup, and he's like a singularly tough cover, but like they should be better, and the vibe should be better, and they're pretty consistently not. And so I think obviously a Maxey Trae Young combination is not right. Defensively, they just get worked so bad. But what is the right system for Trae to succeed at like consistently higher levels? Like I'm very intrigued by him going to San Antonio. But like Atlanta did get a bunch of big wings, like big defensive minded wings and like lob threats for him. Obviously Capella and Okongwu are like easy lob threats, and the big wings being like DeAndre Hunter and Sadiq Bey and John Collins, even to some extent, also a lob threat. And
Could make the argument having better shooters there would be.
Yeah, but they have Bogdan. Sadiq is a good shooter. It's just why is it not work? Like what is missing there that is not making them at least somewhat good?
Can I offer a theory?
Yeah.
I've slandered James Harden quite a bit, but we can all agree that James Harden in his prime was a singularly great offensive player. Like probably not the greatest offensive player of all time, but nobody is as great in the way that he was great as anyone. There are players in the NBA who are great singular offensive players, but maybe because I think of Trae and I think of Luka. And while Luka's teams have been slightly better than the Atlanta teams, he has made 1 Western Conference Finals. Trae Young has made 1 Eastern Conference Finals. Luka flat out missed the playoffs last year. This team has played better recently, but still nobody thinks of them as a real title threat. I just am not sure that having a perimeter player take that many possessions and that much usage is a recipe to win a title. And I just think it takes such specific players to be okay with watching one guy do that over and over and over and over again, and have your job be relegated to either rim running or standing in the corner. I don't know if you get enough buy-in from everyone else and if it keeps everyone else involved enough to succeed at the highest level. And I actually don't see very much difference. Obviously, Luka is a better player than Trae, but I don't see any difference in the issues that they have, like when you're team building and to win a championship. I just think it's very tough to win that way. And
yeah, I don't disagree. They're top 10 in offense each year, at least the last 4 years. That since Trae's been a third-year player, it is a lot of what is right for the vibe is the easy way to say it, but culture and general disposition of the rest of your team. If someone is controlling the ball so much,
yep,
how happy can you make the rest of the team when you're just every decision has to be made with the ball in my hands? I'd also say Trae obviously has incredible range, but his shot selection from 3 has always bugged me.
Yeah.
He's never been a great 3-point shooter. He had 1 year where he was good. Here's his 6 seasons in the NBA. 32.4, this is from 3. 36%, 34%, 38%, 33.5%, 37%. And
that's on how many attempts a game? 10?
On average, 7.5.
Oh,
no, he's
okay.
never been over 9.5. He shot as a sophomore, but 9.5 is the most. Most of it's been 6 to 8. He's obviously as a passer, as a distributor, as just get easy shots guy. He can get whatever he wants, but he really settles a lot. And if you're going to be that guy that's so easily picked on defensively, because he can't stand up to anything. Now he's got quick hands. Like, he's averaging a career high in steals this year, 1.5 a game. But he's just so easily picked on. He's so small, so easily pushed around, and also not that engaged off ball. Then you really got to be like 1 or 2 offense, so that defense you can be like 12 or 13 in the league, and they're too bad on defense and not quite good enough on offense consistently to earn it. So yeah, I mean, I think eventually he'll find success somewhere. I would be intrigued by him with San Antonio, but I don't think I would want him here. Certainly not. Certainly it would like piss off Embiid like 100%.
Yeah, they're both too high usage, like two guys. You could make this the argument with Embiid, by the way, same way. So, though Embiid has had more success singularly than Luka, I would say as a hub of a really good team, Embiid, but that's because Embiid's a good defensive player as well.
Yeah.
So, the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. Shout out to Kirby, the dog we were fostering for about a week. He still does not have a forever home, by the way. He is at St. Hubert's in New Jersey. If you're interested in adopting Kirby, please do it. Like, the fostering thing is tough, man. You get a dog in your house, you love him, and then you send him back to the shelter. That dog's got to get fucking adopted, or it's gonna break me. So he's a good dog. He loved his Big Barker. Rebel loves his Big Barker. If you love your dog, you simply must get your dog a Big Barker. Do you care about your dog? Do you care about your dog's health? Is that part of the job of being a dog owner? Of course it is. Big Barker makes a difference in your dog's health. It supports your dog's joints. It's a real bed, as opposed to those ones that you probably have that you think looks comfortable, but is really not good for your dog's joints. Looks like a big pillow. You wouldn't want to sleep on a pillow. You want to sleep on a bed. Think about the difference if you sleep on a bad mattress at the Airbnb or a hotel compared to your mattress at home. That is why it is important that you get your dog a Big Barker. There's a big difference. Go to bigbarker.com/Ricky. You do there. You get the Ricky upgrade, which is 2 processed pup patches. You can select from any one of a million different colors they have, different sizes for different size dogs. Some with the headrest, some without the headrest. Looks good in whatever room it is, and has been proven by a study by Penn Vet to keep your dog healthier, keep your dog's joints ready to go. Older dogs, arthritis starts to creep in, older humans as well, but I don't need a Big Barker. I have my regular bed, but if you have a dog, you need to get the dog a Big Barker. Bigbarker.com/Ricky. The foam doesn't flatten, or they replace it for free with their 10-year warranty, a 1-year at-home trial. If you don't like it, they will give you a full refund. They'll even pay for the UPS to send it back. It is handmade in the USA. Big Barker dog beds. Before we get to the Reddit, I think there's a new Doc Rivers video quote surfacing that I think we need to play for us. I have not seen it. It has been sent to me 3 times from 3 different people during the pod. So here we go. Hit it, CJ. It's with Rachel Nichols.
This quick switch from the end of last season to then the broadcast booth and now back here, and to have to be here this week as opposed to just home figuring out the team.
Well, I should be home anyway, since Griff is the one that got this, in all honesty. It's a lot. I mean, Rachel, I talked to you 3 weeks ago. This was not in my plans. I had committed to taking a year off. I had 2 other teams that had already called during the season, and we wouldn't even take the interview. And, with this one came about, and I thought that just the fact that it was the teams from where I went to school at and the type of team. So, it was a lot. And it was like I was joking. They put me on a clock. It's not like I had a week to decide. So it was a tough one.
Can I ask who the other 2 teams were?
No.
I thought it was worth a try.
It was good. That was a good try.
So, Mike, your thoughts? He was committed. Now, do you think when the other teams called, he was like, hey, I'm too busy stabbing Adrian Griffin in the back. It's a long process. I already have 3 weeks into letting the owners know that, look, if you think about moving on, I'm actually not doing anything. Do you think that was the issue?
Yeah, I mean, I only have so many stabbing hands at once. Really good. He's just generational in what he does.
NBAI, show me a lying piece of shit.
I mean, he's trying to like appear magnanimous to Adrian Griffin.
Yeah.
And
not gonna work.
I would really love, there's so much like coaching brotherhood type stuff that like there's not that many coach beefs anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Would really love like some outlet, whether it's Chris Haynes or like the Players Tribune or whatever, for like Adrian Griffin to really go off on Doc Rivers.
Would be fucking excellent.
That would be quite good. I would like that very much. Because like you were brought in to consult, which also is weird.
Yes.
You shouldn't be allowed to be a national commentator
And
when
consulting
you're like,
one specific team.
And consulting one specific team, like a fucking lobbying firm from like the UAE or something. Like what is going on? Like don't do that. You shouldn't be allowed. Also, like ESPN's paying you enough, man. They've got to be paying you so much fucking money. Like you shouldn't be allowed. You should have to reveal that, disclose that.
Yep.
These so many fucking rich people just love giving their money away to absolute grifters that are very obviously pulling one over on them, and he's good at it.
Would you say that sort of thing about Pop though?
No, I guess you're right. I wouldn't. I guess you're right. I wouldn't. But and also Doc, like he always does a great job of picking what team. He does not go to just random team.
No,
he doesn't go. He's not going to go coach like the Blazers right now. Like he's not going to take, even for as much money as they could have given him, he's not going to take Monty's job in Detroit. He is going to go to a team that has at least one top 4 player all the time.
Yeah.
And he succeeds at that. I would love to know if, even, let's take him at his word that there were 2 other teams that called. I would love to know what they were. Who is hearing Doc on the broadcast and going like, God, he's good. God, his insights are great. He's a forward-thinking mind that could really get this together.
We got to get Adrian Griffin on the pod.
No, he's not coming. He's not coming to us. But somebody should talk to him.
Ask me anything questions from AMA. A good mix of Ricky lore, Sixers questions, so on and so forth. I will just go through the ones from the Sixers Reddit and the Rights Ricky Sanchez Reddit, that bunch that got upvoted. I did skip a few that I do not think were appropriate, though were funny questions. First one, can we finally get intel on how we know James Harden has lots of sex? Sorry, the answer to that is no.
Wow.
Yeah. I know Mike would like it as well. So.
I do want to know how you believe you know that. I don't think he has lots of sex. And
he definitely does. And I know it.
And I will not. I have said on this podcast that I refuse to hear how you know that off the podcast. I need to hear it with the people on the podcast, or I don't want to hear it at all because I don't believe it.
My hint would be, this is a very vague hint. My hint would be that it is through somebody that we talk about on the podcast as well. A different person we talk about has never been a guest. So there you go. Could be a million different people. It's not Daryl Morey. It's not Daryl Morey. It's not Daryl Morey. Just so people.
He's been a guest.
Yeah. Oh, right. He's been a guest. Okay, next one. And I'll leave this up to you if you want to do it.
So Michael Rubin is texting you videos from his literal movie of James having sex with
again.
People. Okay.
I will not comment on any guesses. I just wanted to get out there that it wasn't Daryl.
I don't buy it at all. I don't buy it for a goddamn second.
Okay.
He likes to be alone. He likes to go to parties and then be alone and be perceived like he's having a lot of sex.
Specifically, does not enjoy sex.
He's a lonely guy. I'm not saying he doesn't enjoy it. I'm not saying he doesn't enjoy it. I wouldn't say that. It'd be ridiculous for me to say. Mm-hmm. I'm saying he wants to come across like a guy who has a lot of sex, but he does not.
Okay. This comes from 76 Positive on...
There's too much work in sex. You're moving around a lot. He doesn't like to move around that much. He likes to stand still.
Who knows he's not just laying there while she's on top of him.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second.
Like a fat guy, you know?
I don't
Can't
buy it
move.
for a goddamn second.
Fat mob guy or something.
Fat mob guy. Fat mob guy.
Sorry, I've been reading some mob stuff lately. This comes to 76 positive. Give us just a little hint about the secret ban. Go on, just a little one. Do you want to give a hint?
No.
Okay. Do I want to give a hint about the secret ban? I will say this.
I think it'll. There's no hint that wouldn't make it pretty obvious.
Yes. Here's the only hint I will give.
It's going to be obvious.
No, it isn't. 2 people, of all the people that have guessed, and there have been hundreds, 2 people have guessed correctly privately. I will say that. That did a lot of sleuthing and sort of like listening, and 2 people were able to do it. One is in fact, I will say, the Ricky Zone, here's his weekly mention, the Ricky Zone Jason Lipschitz did figure it out privately. And then another emailer who I've never responded to has also figured it out. So this comes from Still Ballin'. Who would win an Who would win an all Ricky arm wrestling contest? I would imagine the field being Spike, Mike, CJ, AU, Mike O'Connor, Zoe, and the Danny. Of course, Abby would be there as well. I know what my choice would be. Mike, who do you think wins it?
I don't know. I've never met Dan.
Oh, yeah. I think he works out a lot.
All right, then maybe Dan.
I would say Dan or Zoe at least talks about being at the gym a good deal. And I don't know if I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just because I haven't been there with him. And he is physically a big person.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't tend to love arm wrestling, so I don't know that that's my it's because it's such an odd thing, and you're like on the table and you're trying to like leverage. It's not my favorite feat of strength, I will say.
I'm afraid that my arm will snap. It's happened in like pro arm wrestling things. We did an arm wrestling contest.
CJ snapping Spike's arm, snapping it in half.
Dude, we did
needing to get a dildo forearm.
We
to
did
match your dildo hip.
We did a listener arm wrestling contest at WIP, and in retrospect, it was one of the dumbest decisions we ever made. I can't believe we got people to sign off on it, but I'm glad that nobody broke their arm. This comes from Trombulation. Can we get an April Fool's Flyers pod? Mike? Mike, can you name one Flyer? Current Flyer, not Carter Hart.
No.
Okay.
No. I could name probably 6 from like 97.
I was going to say historical Flyers. I know you can do it, but
yeah, but no.
If you do end up breaking your arm in an arm wrestling Ricky arm wrestling contest, you know who you call? Kornblau Kornblau, the official law firm of the process. Bam! There it is. Kornblau, the official law firm of the Ricky Kornblau Kornblau. Been doing the personal injury thing for 40 years. The premier personal injury law firm in the Delaware Valley. The biggest difference to me with Kornblau and the other personal injury law firms you hear about is when you reach out to Kornblau Kornblau, you actually get the person that we're talking to. These other ones, I'm not going to say they're scams. They're not scams. But you'll hear that disclaimer at the end. I can't even practice law in your state, but call us anyway. What the fuck is that? So what it is they're just referral services. It's not the lawyer you see on the billboard or here in the commercial. They're not actually doing the work for you. So what are you even buying? You're just buying a referral service. When you go to Kornblau Kornblau, you're getting the person that we're talking about, the person who is dedicated to this, the person who cares about it, has a passion for it, has some of the biggest medical malpractice results in all of southeastern PA. That's the person we're talking about. The person who is going to sue the Ricky when you do the listener arm wrestling contest and your arm gets snapped in half by CJ. That's what we're talking about. If you have been injured in any way, hurt, and it may not be your fault, you got to reach out to Kornblau Kornblau, whether it is slip and fall, injured at work, car accident, medical malpractice, whatever it is. Let him figure out if you're entitled to something. That's not on you. You just got to get hurt. Then it's on him to do the rest. Mm-hmm. That should be their tagline. You get hurt, we do the rest. If you think you might have a case, give him a call or shoot him an email.
All you got to do, just get hurt.
Get hurt. 215-576-7200 to ask for Adam. He really is a good guy and really cares about this shit, and they will take care of you. 215-576-7200 to ask for Adam, or email Kornblau, Kornblau at kornblauandkornblau.com. Kornblau Kornblau, the official law firm of the process. Back to the AMA. What is the best Philadelphia sports moment you've seen in person? Spike, if it's understandably the Super Bowl for you, what is your second best? Mike, your favorite?
I was there for the Phillies 08 parade when Utley said world fucking champions.
That's a great moment.
Yeah.
So because I'm getting rid of the Super Bowl, which I was there for, and the NFC Championship game prior to that, which I was also there for, if we're going to get rid of that entire run, I've said this a million times and I will never take it back. The Lou Williams 3 on Easter to beat the Heat in the playoffs was the most fun thing I've ever been at. I think knowing the context of who that Heat team was at the time, like that was the unbeatable Heat, and the fact that fucking Lou Williams just stared it down and shot a 27-foot 3 in the fucking mug and won the game, and I had an annoying family of Heat fans behind me. It was obviously a team that was going nowhere, but it was a great moment. And I had my wife there. We were dating. I put her in a headlock, started smacking her ass afterwards. It was a great moment.
Pre-podcast.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember with my girlfriend at the time, I was going out with her family for Easter lunch and had to like run back to my apartment at college to watch the game on my laptop. I didn't like that team.
Yeah, I know you didn't. I did like that team. I think that is the big difference between one of the big difference historically about the Sixers. I also not a huge Iverson guy, but did like that team. So this is a good one. Good Sixers-y one. It comes from King Wentz. Underwear. It says, pretend my name is King Hertz. I don't know. That might be precarious at this point too. Who would you want this offseason next to Maxey, Hield, and Embiid? Assume LeBron and Paul George are off the table, free agents only. Who is in your brain?
I mean, I guess if it's just free agents, I guess Drew would be the answer.
Would you rather have Drew or would you rather have Anunoby?
That's a good question. I would probably rather have Anunoby and re-signing Melton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It isn't. And, Siakam will be a free agent as well, but I think he's just going to re-sign there. James Harden, any interest in him?
How do you think he'd fit?
Well, I think the pick and roll with he and Embiid would be pretty legendary.
Interesting.
Basketball. Do you think Tobias Harris would be a better basketball player if he read less books? Non-basketball. Were you hesitant to accept DraftKings as a sponsor due to the negative effects of legalized sports gambling on the youth? Tobias, what do you think? If he read less books, would he be better at basketball?
No, maybe he's reading. Maybe his strength at basketball comes from the books. Maybe he's reading about basketball technique.
NBAI.
Tom Mamansky's basketball. How to draw a foul.
NBAI turn this game into a book.
Oh, that'd be so good. Pages turning. Fucking Mr. Darcy dunking on my ass.
As for DraftKings, no, I was not hesitant one bit. For some reason, nobody asked this question about like alcohol or like fried food that obviously are bad for people, that are associated with negative things that people have control of. I think DraftKings, like when you think about it this way, DraftKings does not benefit from having people's like lives ruined due to gambling. They benefit from you using it responsibly, which I think people can. I think there are obviously for certain people negative things associated with it, but I think that same thing about alcohol. I think about it. We have a pretty fat country and like in a negative health way, and we continue to, I think knowing about the dangers of it, I think when you're talking about the youth, I think their parents have to understand that it is a threat, but there's a lot of things there. So I think plenty of people can gamble responsibly and have a good time with it. And there is a small percentage who cannot, which I think there are, but I think they know about that and they care about that, and it doesn't benefit them for that to happen either. So didn't think twice about it. From Wrongness Maximus 2.0, in your view, which recent villain associated with the Sixers is the most despicable? Of the last 15 years, my Rushmore is Simmons, Doc, Harden, and Bynum, in no particular order. Long Collar is a dishonorable mention. Love the show, guys. You're doing God's work.
Oh, I mean, the Colangelo's got to be up. I would not.
Yeah.
I would disagree with that.
I would give them one fucking despicable, ugly face. I would combine Jerry, like NBAI, make one face for Brian and Jerry so I can put it on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Ben has to be up there.
Yeah. It all it all like mixes in with each other, you know?
Yeah.
You can't separate it. It's like, it's not like how in the show Dexter, when each season had like a new villain.
Right.
That was like the bad guy that you're going after. Like they're all sort of like intermixed together. But you know, I got to go with the Colangelo family. Yeah,
I think so. I think that would probably, I actually can't think of anybody worse. I think everything everything is based off of how much better were they than the Colangelos. You know, I think they were the worst. Jerry Colangelo, I don't know if anyone remembers this. Mike, I don't know if you remember it.
Let's hear it. I was about to do the same thing. You go for it.
Well, so Sam Hinkie was the president of basketball operations for the team, and they hired Jerry Colangelo as an advisor, who then got Hinkie fired and hired his own son to run the team. I don't know if you remember that. Of all the people available, he just hired his own son, who didn't even have a job at the time. Yeah. Do you remember that?
It rings a bell.
He hired his own son.
Yes. Doc Rivers at least had the integrity to hire himself.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And Jerry wasn't even there. He was in Phoenix.
He didn't even go to the interviews. He didn't think it was fair. Actually, that's a good reminder.
He recused himself. So bad.
Yeah, recused himself.
He was like, I was totally not a part of it at all.
Yeah. I think what you have to realize about this is, though Jerry Colangelo, who was Brian Colangelo's father, was there and was an advisor to ownership instead went and did 50 interviews, and of every 75 interviews, and of the people they interviewed, it just happened to be that Jerry Colangelo's unemployed son was the best choice out of everybody.
Well, they didn't even know that it was him because they just had him as Brian C. And how could they have known that it was the same guy? 75 interviews. I think that's the number of NBA teams that reached out to Doc Rivers to try to coach them this year.
Yes.
Very impressive, and that's just how it goes. That's just business. That's just smart business.
From Lickface, do you brush your teeth in the shower? I do. I started doing it about 6 years ago.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, saves time. Spike, what made you choose to come back to Philly? Were you tired of faking caring about New York sports, or is being program director just too stressful? When you're program director, it doesn't matter who you're a fan of. You're not like on the radio anyway. Opportunity to work with Jack and work with Ike and be on WIP was number one. Number two is getting to wake up later, and being a program director is very stressful, more stressful than I could have ever imagined. So I made a decision to have fun, which is not a decision I oftentimes make.
No way you wake up later.
I'm going to wake up later. 8 hours. I told my wife last night, I am sleeping 8 hours a night. I will go to sleep at 11 and wake up at 7 and sleep 8 hours. It's going to, wait till you see how fucking good looking I'm going to be.
Bullshit. You wake up at 7. Not a chance in goddamn hell. Me and CJ have gotten emails from you at fucking like 1 in the morning, my time, too often. There's no way. Your body's broke. Your dildo hip is too used to it. There's not a chance.
I'm telling you, from my sleep, I'm going to look so good. We're going to need to buy a $2,000 camera to show how good looking I look for how much I'm going to sleep.
Have to prove it.
Gray hair is going to turn back brown. From Fresh Prince 4820, who would you rather have for a playoff run with this team, Doug Collins or Glenn Rivers?
I mean,
it's Rivers.
Really? I was gonna say for 1 year, probably Collins, because I do think that he is like a psycho basketball freak.
Yes.
That even if I disagree with his principles, he has them and was sometimes good at wringing out any singular advantage, whereas Doc is sort of just like, let our good guys play.
Yeah, I do think like at a certain point though, that's why Doug was like a floor raiser type guy.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, so we don't need the.
I would pick neither of them, but if I tried to win a game, I do think Doug at least is
tries hard.
Yeah, tries too hard.
Yeah,
and has like basketball ideas and concepts, whereas I think Doc is just like everybody else. Doc's just like hierarchy. He's just like do hierarchy, and everybody buy in to that.
From C. Corral 12, who would win a Team Ricky dunk contest on an 8-foot rim and a Ricky 3-point contest?
I don't know. First of all, we're still waiting till the end of Black History Month for Dan Ollinger to finish his
the Black History Month challenge.
The Black History Month challenge for Dan Ollinger. haven't seen Zoe dunk, MOC. I haven't seen him dunk, so we have to see. But
MOC was a good basketball player, from what I understand.
We're not getting more athletic.
No.
As the podcast goes on.
No, that's for sure. Do you think you would make the 35 of 50? I know we've talked about this from the free throws. Would you make the 35 of 50 with the camera on you, shooting 50 straight?
Probably not. With the camera on, no, I would choke. I would choke for sure.
Would you rather your own dog have a human penis or Mike with a dog penis? It's a weird question. What do I care what Mike's penis is?
Yeah.
I would rather Mike have a dog penis, actually.
Wow. Rude.
Sorry.
Extremely rude. No, it'd be pretty fun to have a red rocket. That everyone's very upset by. But I guess dog, human penis. What I would go with. I guess I go with Spike's dog having a human penis. Probably would be my pick.
I gotta walk around with Rebels. I gotta walk them with the guy's got a human penis hanging there.
Yeah.
From St. Christian, basketball question: would you bring Tobias Harris back on a Kelly Oubre-esque minimum contract? Non-basketball question: would you rather be fluent in every language or be able to read people's mind?
Definitely fluent in every language. Reading people's minds sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Sounds like a nightmare. Yeah, I don't want to know what people are thinking.
There's no way Tobias gets a minimum contract. I think he'll probably end getting a contract somewhere else in the 20-25 million range.
Oh, no chance. I think
he gets 20-25?
Nope.
Oh, I disagree.
Maybe you get a bad team who's desperate. Yeah. Okay, yeah, for sure.
I think some team will give him like 375, 370, something like that. And that's not that much like of the cap anymore,
right.
as going forward. So, and as far as, all the, if teams just want to like professionalize their operation, then Tobias would be a great fit. I think
Tobias,
Daryl
the
would
Doc of players.
Sure. I think Daryl would do it for the right price, depending on the other guys, but I don't think that he wants to.
Yeah, and I also don't
would rather move on.
I also don't think Tobias on this team would be best starting, to be honest with you. I think he would be best as a bench player, and Tobias is not coming off the bench, I don't think. I think Tobias has done, at least in his mind, a lot of doing what the other teams need. I think he wants to go to Daddy Touch USA, wherever that is next year.
Indianapolis.
Yeah. Did you, Spike, used to have Mike call in when you filled in as a late night host on WIP? Feel like I remember this, but could be a fever dream.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike did call in. It's actually, if you go far enough back on the Ricky podcast feed, it is there. The old WIP shows are there. The Mike Collins are there. So
yeah, I was in as an assistant at How I Met Your Mother. I was sneaking into the writers' offices at night while I was printing scripts to deliver to call WIP. It was a weird time.
From Stonewall 999, for a playoff run, assuming healthy and in their prime, would you rather have AI and Dikembe or Embiid and Maxey?
Prime Dikembe.
Prime AI.
Prime AI.
I think I take Prime Embiid because Prime Embiid is better than Prime AI.
I think that's right. I think Embiid would probably, because of his, and I think Embiid would probably cook Dikembe pretty good. Dikembe was not fluid on the perimeter.
He was a center for the time of his, sort of the last center who was sort of that sort of guy was Hibbert. You remember Hibbert was such a stalwart defensively, and then all of a sudden he couldn't play anymore. Like the 3-point revolution changed defense for a lot of centers. So
I'd probably go now.
From VQC87, does Mike ever read a show rundown before recording?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
From Schnub, since
Do
Mike
I read it all? No, I mean it's crazy.
Some.
I also don't want to read the emails at the bottom because I want to be
prepared,
surprised by them in the moment.
Since Mike,
I'll look around.
Since Mike is so good at basketball, what retired NBA player could he beat in a game of one-on-one right now? Alternative, hypothetically, how old would Robert Covington have to be before Mike, at his age now, could beat Rocco in a game of one-on-one?
Never. Covington, too much length, deflections. He would always get me.
I would say early 70s, late 60s is what we would
I don't know. My dad's 71, still playing.
Yeah.
If Rocco can keep up like my dad has really done a great job of. He was never that good of a player, but he was always high effort, high motor, and a real acceptance of his role, and has just he's plateaued for so long. Although he would tell you he's getting better because he's practicing more since the pandemic. But like all the other guys that used to be better than him when in like high school, 20s, 30s, they're not playing anymore. So he has outlasted all of them. So maybe that would be me and Robert Covington at that stage. I would just outlast him because of my genes. Who would I beat right now? I would love to like
retired NBA player now.
Yeah. I would love to like smoke Jerry West. That'd be fun.
CJ does note that Bob Cousy is alive and he is 95 years old.
Yeah, I mean, but Bob Cousy in Blue Chips was not missing, and he was old then. So
I still think Jerry West would cook you. He's got a real attitude, and I don't think
for sure. But there's no way that guy is moving his feet on the perimeter.
How old is Jerry West? Do we think 80?
Jerry
85.
West,
He's 85.
Yeah, there's no way.
Do you think we could line that up?
He would probably like. If I get close enough, take one swing at me and the game will be over. But yeah, he's not moving his feet. Come on, Jerry.
Would Embiid have less injuries if he got more good night sleeps on a human-sized Big Barker bed?
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah. Spike, do you wear slides at home? I have plantar fasciitis. Do you think it helps? I don't wear slides. I now wear in-house sneakers that never touch the outside. They're the same running shoes that I wear outside, Brooks, but I don't wear slides. On the latest pod, you said no one in the East really scares you. What makes the Celtics unscary in your opinion? Please be as detailed as possible. I want to be unafraid. At least my opinion on, I don't know what yours is, my opinion on why the Celtics are unscary is two-pronged. Not one more important than the other, but one, what's his name? Porzingis is incredibly important to them, and he's hurt all the time. It's funny to say, whatever, but it is what it is. And the second thing is they still do not have like a real perimeter creator type person. Like there's so many step backs and, fall away jumpers. I just think if they go cold, we've seen this historically, by the way, we saw it in the Heat series. If they go last year, they go cold for 2 or 3 games, they're just fucking cooked, I think. So they're really, really good, but I don't think they're scary.
Yeah. The thing that we've been saying for now 6 or so years is we will have the best player in the series.
Yeah.
And so if you
sound so beaten down when you say that.
I'm pretty beaten down by it, but I'd be scared of. I would not pick us in a Boston series, but yeah, the Porzingis injuries, some like if they go cold in like the difficult shot making situation, I do think that as much as I really love and adore Derek White, I do think they're going to miss some like Marcus Smarty moments on defense without him this year. And Drew is very good as well, so it's not going to be much. But I think there's something about Smart that sort of like tied it all together for them. And I wonder in the playoffs if they'll feel that absence.
Do you think Milwaukee Bucks would be better today if they had Mike Budenholzer and Drew Holiday rather than Doc Rivers and Dame Lillard?
Yeah.
Clip that. Put it on the internet. Get it on the Bucks Reddit. I just want them to see that. I knew what you were going to say. I think the same thing. I wanted somebody to say it. So good. Thank you.
I mean, I just think that there's a side by side of Dame and wins versus Dame and losses, and like when he is not shooting out of his mind, they lose. Like as good as Giannis is, they lost that Memphis game. Giannis missed 2 shots.
Yeah,
and then they lose because Dame is so bad defensively, and
Giannis is a little overrated too.
Man,
it's a little overrated. That's all. It's not super overrated, but it's a little overrated.
Well, I would love to see it. Honestly, like
got no bag.
There's too much. I've always wanted to see a Sixers-Bucks playoff series.
Yeah.
With Embiid and Giannis going at each other, the fact that Doc Rivers is now their coach, like honestly, makes it like too like the surface of the sun level hot for me. Like I wish that it wasn't the case, because like truly if they lose, like I will go up in flames. Like it will be rough, but I would love to see it. I think it would be a really fun watch, and I you know, I'm not that I'm looking forward to Brook Lopez fucking destroying
shooting
1,000
23 for 26 during the series from
blocking
3.
every single shot.
Yeah.
Maxey just getting absolutely erased at the rim over and over again because Brook Lopez is so good. I don't know.
A couple more from Nittany Lion 15. If for whatever reason a Jimmy Butler reunion became an option this offseason, would you want that to happen?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Now, that contract, whatever you give him, is not going to age well. He's 35. He's got a lot of miles on him. He misses a lot of games through injury, but beggars can't be choosers. Like, if the option is that or signing fucking DeMar DeRozan, I'll take Jimmy Butler. So, your dad is insistent and brings it up every weekend that Halliburton was on the table for Simmons. However, Mark Stein reported that the Kings never put Halliburton on the table for a Simmons trade. What do you guys know? I don't think
they claim that it's not a black and white thing. I think a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't like they were holding two offers in their hands, like piece of paper, and they just said like, do the Harden one. I think if because of what Halliburton was eventually traded for in Sabonis, who was good and obviously is now way better than Simmons, but at the time was not considered so much better.
Well, he got traded. Like here's the things that we do know. He did get traded, and he got traded for Domantas Sabonis, right? So he was available.
He could have been had, and it would have been for less than the Simmons plus 2 picks plus Drummond and Seth Curry trade that they eventually did for Harden.
They fucked up. Yeah,
they should have pushed. They should have pushed harder for it. And I think the Embiid timeline, especially that time, everyone sort of treating Joel like the end of his career or the end of his prime was sooner than it looks like it will be. I think caused that decision. If they had known at the time that Joel was going to be, obviously he's hurt right now, but if they had known that he would be this kind of player or that kind of player at that time for like the next 5 years, then maybe they would have done it. But I think they maybe thought like ticking time bomb, we gotta go right now. But obviously it was the wrong decision. I wanted Halliburton then. We talked ourselves into Harden because it was Harden.
We talked ourselves into Al Horford. Like, what do you want from us?
We can talk ourselves into anything. This is ultimately a podcast of people who want to believe in the Sixers.
Look, if we couldn't talk ourselves into things, we wouldn't be doing the podcast anymore.
No. And that's why after a Sixers loss to the Doc Rivers Bucks, I wouldn't be able to do it anymore. I wouldn't be able to talk myself into anything. I wouldn't be able to talk myself into waking up in the morning. Wouldn't be able to happen.
2 more. From CDub338. Is this the ugliest roster we've had in the Embiid era? The likes of Kenny Lofton, Campaign, and Buddy are really bringing down our average handsomeness. It's not the best looking Sixers roster.
I don't think Buddy's ugly. He's distinct looking, but I don't think he's ugly. Cam's not a good looking guy.
Yeah, Kenny Lofton.
I don't know.
No offense. I'm not saying anything about myself. I'm just talking about them. It's not the best looking.
It's not
roster.
the best, but Kelly and Embiid and Maxey and I would say Melton, Tobias, handsome man. There's still Batum, good looking guy. There's still like
and French.
But I think yes, and compared to past years and with some clunkers in there for sure, I think you could say, and that's good. Stop being so hot.
And finally, from Star City, I need help planning my brother's bachelor party. Any ideas?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do like a crazy bachelor party. I just had some friends over to like a random lake house in Virginia.
Yeah,
we threw stuff from a balcony to the lake below. We spent like 4 hours just throwing shit.
Oh, that sounds fucking fun, actually.
Yeah, we got my buddy Ben, who's actually staying here now, got. We almost used
I didn't even go to the wedding.
It was a small wedding. We got a for my Young Rock episode. There was a version for one of them. There was a version of it where there was a a hot dog launcher in the episode, and it ended up getting cut before it got shot or anything, but it got me thinking, and so then I was like, we should get a hot dog launcher. And so Ben got a hot dog launcher and brought it to the bachelor party. So we were just launching hot dogs from the balcony of this like cabin to the lake, like hundreds feet below. It was awesome. We just did that. It was dumb. It was boys being boys stuff.
We did not do crazy stuff. My brother, we just ate a lot of food. We went to 2 separate dinners. Went to Amada. I was not vegan at the time. Went to Amada. I think we went to Pod. And then we went to Hopsing Laundromat, my favorite bar. I felt totally disgusting. And then the next morning, my brother arranged for a sriracha food truck to meet us in the parking lot of the Link. And we ate even more food. So it was a lot of eating at the time. And I love Hopsing Laundromat. So I don't have any good ideas. Just, you know what? This is my advice. Don't overdo it. Have fun with the people who you're there for. Like, I think ultimately it's a fun time with your friends. And if you overdo all the crazy nonsense, I don't know. I'm just not that kind of person. So I don't know. Fucking go to 18 strip clubs, I guess. I don't know if that's your thing too. So, all right. Our next pod will be Thursday, right? Thursday night?
Thursday after the Knicks game.
Thursday after the Knicks game, we'll be at the Stateside Bar. Maybe you'll be able to hear us. Maybe you won't. CJ and I have been going over with the Stateside folks if we can be on the PA. Everybody might have to sit very quiet like they did in the hallway of the Minnesota hotel years ago to hear us. But we will be there after the game, and we hope to see you there. That's it. Are you done with TTP?
Yeah, you, no, lick face.